Hello everyone, welcome to our project presentation. Our project name is Fact Finder and our team name is Justice League. Next. Before moving on, let's go to the agenda of this presentation. So first will be the introduction of our team, and then the next slide would be about the professor feedback. Later on, it will be about the MVP. Then we will talk about the diagrams, few diagrams, and after which we will look at sprint to recap whatever we have done till now. Done till sprint two and what we have done in sprint three. Then we will look at the project backlog, sprint backlog, and then the metrics, which is the velocity and some charts. After which we will discuss about the retrospective and stories plan, which will be planned for sprint four and the project demonstration and live application demo. Next. So here is our team. Suraj Salukhe is our quality analyst and developer. Manthan Kale is a Scrum Master and developer. Kavita Kamtekar is full stack developer. Saurabh Chandri is a product manager and developer. Gayatri Kulkarni is developer. Maheshwari Vidyadharani is a developer. Sai Kumar is developer, and me, Rishabh, is a developer and designer. Next, yeah. So the improvements, which here we will talk about some improvements. So previously our slides were not in the proper order. We have done that, and we have updated our product backlogs and user stories. We have better improved our metrics, and also we previously we had some issues in the voice while doing a demo. So we have improved on that. So yeah.
Project description. Fact Finder is a web application that is designed to combat online misinformation by differentiating between real news and fake news. Additionally, it can also create summaries of the news content. It is for anyone who is concerned about online misinformation and facing concerns reading an article and not being able to figure it out whether it is fake or real. And like unlike believing in any information on internet without knowing its credibility, our application verifies the authenticity of information and saves time by creating summaries. And the benefit outcomes are ensuring the authentication of the information, that is credibility, saves valuable time by generating summaries of the articles, that is it provides the key points of the article, and it contributes to the fight against misinformation. Next slide, please. Team working agreement. So our team goal is to create a collaborative project with positive working environment, which we were able to achieve through frequent meetings, like considering everybody's opinion, ideas, and at last we were able to agree on one thing and work and start working collaboratively. Next slide, please. In personas, we have Maria, who is a community activist working on social justice issues. So she recognizes the role of misinformation in shaping public opinion and wants to combat false narratives that may undermine her advocacy efforts. And her main goal is to empower her community with reliable information. By leveraging this web application, she aims to strengthen the credibility of her advocacy work and foster informed decisions. Next slide, please. In this persona, we have David, who is a small business owner, where his business heavily relies on its online presence for customer engagement. He is concerned about potential misinformation impacting the reputation of his business. So his goal is to safeguard his business reputation by using this web application. So he wants to prevent the spread of false information that could harm customer trust and loyalty. His motivation is to maintain transparency and integrity in his business communications. Next slide, please. And in this persona, we have Michelle, who is a 31-year-old fitness trainer and health enthusiast who frequently relies on online health related information. So, with the abundance of health related news articles and social media posts, Michelle often encounters conflicting information. So, his primary goal is to maintain a healthy lifestyle and share accurate health advice with his followers. By using this web application, he aims to avoid the spread of misinformation in the fitness and health community. Next slide.
Okay, so this slide is about the MVP, that is minimum valuable product. So as we know that user will able to register before login in the fact finder. So yeah, so user will also able to check the news without having an account. So fact in the fact finder, unless he or she wants to check any news history. Then on the homepage tab, it will display a short video of whether what the fake news is. Then the user should navigate to verify news tab. There is a verify news tab where you can post the news as a text in the text box. Then the user will check uh, after clicking on the verify news button, the user will be able to check whether the news is fake or real. And this the system will generate a response which is based on the ML model. So user will also able to okay. So this is the same that user will also able to get the response if whether it's a fake or real. Then there is another tab which is about the about us, and it will display explanation about the website, what basically FactFinder is. Then there is one more functionality which is about the registration with email ID and password. And once the user is able to register successfully, then user can log in with the same email ID and password. And then on the next, when the user is navigated to the next page, user can chat with the like-minded people and discuss about any latest news or a fake news and get some more information through it. So the next slide will be explained by Saurabh.
Thank you, Kavita. So for this project, the technology we are using is for the front end, it's JavaScript, HTML, CSS. And for the framework, we are using the Flask. It's ideal for the for Python language, as our backend language is Python. And for database, it's NoSQL Firebase. Next slide. Yeah, so for algorithm, we are using for machine learning, we are using logistic regression, as our model is to identify the fake news and the real news. It's a classification problem. So for the classification problem, logistic regression is ideal. And we are also planning for the k-nearest neighbor and decision tree as well. But right now we only implemented the logistic regression. And also we want to add a option to our projects that user can have that summary of that news. So for that, we are using the recurrent neural network. It's a deep learning algorithm. Next slide. Yeah, so here are the code for the algorithm, where we use clean and lower function, where will clean our input data and then fed to our model. Next slide. So same thing, here you can see that we have our data frame, and we split our data frame into train and test, and then fed to our logistic regression model. Next slide. Yeah, so this algorithm is for the summary part, where we are using the RNN neural networks. Here you can see we use encoder decoder structure, and yes, for the summary part. Next slide. And yes, same thing for in this code, you can see that how the RNN neural network is working. So next slide will be presenting by my friend Sai. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Saurabh. Coming to the architecture, the first point is starting from the user information. The user information is there like taking the information of the news history and the features which we have implemented in the website. After that process, it going to the news analysis, which is represented the NL natural language processing. The shortcut of the name is NLP. This data goes through the pre-processing stage where it is formatted to further analysis. Next, the data is split into two categories. One is true and the second one is false. So NLP is applied for the data that helps computers understanding the analyzing human language. So the steps involves identify the key points and details the text data. So this model is trained based on the NLP language. The model is likely user algorithm to find patterns in the data in the difference between the real or fake. Finally, the model is decision making based on the algorithm. So it, uh, decision making only true or false. The next slide, please. So for the sequence diagrams, it starts with the user interface. The user interface with the fact finder as a user, which is in the present in the website. So authentication is also required, which we talked in the architecture diagram. Login session is also available. So once authenticated, the dispatches the user query uh, into the search engine of the database. So the search engine is returns to the results which we have shown in the website. The fact finder does not show the result of the user yet, but it will show the results of the true or false that which based on the algorithm. Next slide, please. Coming to the relation diagram, the process starts with the user login in which their email address and the password. The system then will uses this information along with the user's news history to update the news feed. And the news articles is a category which we are implemented in the summary part. And we have some chart UI feature is also coming, which is represented the real or fake. And it's not entirely clear from the diagram, but it's likely system is uses of the algorithm. Then the user sees the personalized news feeds for the login information for the in the history path. Next. Now my friend is explaining this part. Anita?
Okay, so let's through the sprint to recap. So in this, we will discuss about what all things we have covered in sprint 2. So we have developed ML model. So we were successfully able to develop it. Then we also created the UI design about the login homepage and the search text bar. Then we also able to create the architecture, then entity relational diagram, then the sequence diagram. Then we also created a backend to train ML model. Then we have also tested the backend and front-end functionality, so which is working fine, and because of which we are able to do a connectivity in Sprint 3 successfully. Okay, so the next slide will be explained by Suraj.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Kavita. So, this is our sprint backlog for like sprint 2, 3, and 4. So, in sprint 2, we mainly concentrated on the login functionality. So, this include the 4 to 5 stories, as a user will be logged in using a specific ID and password, and like the security measures, like the account will be logged if the multiple login attempt is done. Manthan, can you go to next slide? Okay, so like here the website should have exclusive features and personalized content. Next, like as a user, I want to learn more about the application and its creators. So we had a contact us page for it. And next, I want to like easily access the contact information to reach out. Like we had our email address and everything in there. So like Manthan, can you go to next slide? So like this is a backlog for our sprint 3. So here, as a user, I want to have access to user-friendly interface where I can easily input a news content. So we had a text box here. So next, as a user, I wanted to receive a fact-checking result in a timely manner. So like we tested our algorithm, like how fast it is performing to fact-check the news. Next, as a user, I wanted to able to view the detailed analysis of the source. So like in this, the website will give the short summary of the news. And then as a user, I wanted to able to view my search history in this. Like we are still working on this functionality. Like it's like almost 80% complete. So next, as a user, I wanted to have access to access to feedback mechanism. So like here, I can give feedback to whichever news I am reading. So next slide, please. So this is sprint 4 backlog, so which we are planning to do. So as a user, I wanted to have options to share fact check news and articles on a social media platform. We are like working on this story, but like it's not yet started. So as a user, I wanted to receive a notification and alerts for the breaking news and the news stories that are being fact checked. And then as a user, I wanted to have the option to filter and sort my search history for the better organizational view. And next, as a user, I wanted to have option to engage with the community fellow to discuss news which I am fact checking. Next slide, please, Manta. So this is the same sprint 3 backlog. So like we completed 4 stories in it, and we had multiple tasks under it, and like one story is pending. So like we'll continue this story to sprint 4. Next slide, Manthan. So these are the test cases we executed for sprint 3. Like they are like a submit valid news. So like valid news content should be submitted. So like then only the algorithm will able to decide if it is fake or true. That if the text box is empty or the large text is submitted, we have a limit of 500 words for a text box. And then the detailed analysis of the report, like if the analysis is missing, what error should website will give. And then the search history part, like everything we have searched in the previous news, it should be displayed for the user. And like if user wanted to filter out his search history, like if it is related to sports or like it is related to any different category, so this will be covered here. Like next slide, please. So like this will be continued by Gayatri. Thank you.
Thank you, Suraj. So metrics. Next slide. Team velocity means completed and committed ratio compares how much work the team has done in certain time frame. That is shown as sprint 1, sprint 2, and sprint 3 versus how much work team actually did. So the ratio of completed and committed ratio work is 82.35%. Next slide. So as shown in Bonn chart of sprint 2 and sprint 3. Next slide. So it indicates the actual efforts and actual effort. A blue line indicates the actual efforts and orange line indicates the estimated efforts. So with the day-to-day feedback, we could able to achieve the goals. Next slide will be explained by Manthan.
Thank you. So as we concluded our sprint 3, we had retrospective where we discussed what did go well, what can be improved, and what are the action items for our next sprint. So we had a detailed discussion. Some of it was technical and some of it was team related and agile related. So for what did go well, that we had refined user stories. The communication was better this time. Our team was able to train the ML model successfully, which was one of the important items that we had for action items on Sprint 2 retrospective. We had the backend connectivity, and as we discussed more on the login and registration, this was one of the part where we discussed of skipping it, but the team then decided to keep it intact. Like we'll proceed with login and registration as the user might need to share the data or revisit the data and coming back to the website. We also had good teamwork and the Firebase connectivity was completed as well. What can be improved was the backend summary RNN model still needs to be completed because that is one of the new features that the team added, that we will have a summary of the news article for the users. So they have this new feature coming in as well. So we did have less meetings than required as we are approaching our final sprints. We need to meet more frequently. And the UI for chat section can be improved as this is one of the items that can be improved for sprint 4. And then the action items that we have for the next sprint is we need to get on an early start for it because this is our final sprint. We have deployment, we have multiple things that need to be completed. Our application needs to be refined. So that's one of the action items. We need to have frequent stand-up calls as we are approaching the end. We need to meet more frequently and make sure everyone is on the same page. Need to work on the deployment plan and manual as well. We need to update our sprint tasks daily, as it's better for our burn down chart and it helps us understand the velocity of our team as well. And then again, we need to train and test the RNN model, which is our final feature for the application. Moving on to the stories and acceptance criteria for Sprint 4, we have about the big four stories that we have is that as a user, I want to have the option to share fact check news articles on social media platforms. Another one is as a user, I want to receive notification or alerts for breaking news stories that are being fact checked. And then as a user, I want to have an option to filter and sort my search history for better organization and retrieval. And the final story is I want to have the option to engage with a community of fellow users to discuss news topics, share insights, and collaborate on fact checking efforts. Thank you. The next slide will be explained by my team.
Yeah, so let's walk through our website through the screenshots. So here is the homepage screenshot, which says that it has a short video. It's an interactive video which says what is a fake news is. Can you go to the next slide? Okay, now this is a verify news tab where we can, paste or we can search for, we can basically see whether the news is real or fake by pasting any random news on this text bar. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah, so for example, if you can see that there is a text that we have entered. So this is a random text we search from the Google and which is an actual news. So this gives, once you click on the verifies news button, you will able to see the result, whether it's actual or a fake news. So this one is the actual news. Can you go to the next slide? Similarly, if you see for this article, this is article which is a fake one. So we could able to paste on this text bar and verify whether this is a real or fake. So this says that this news is fake. Can you go on to the next slide? Yeah, so we have another example which says that it's an actual news. So this is also a random news that we searched from Google and pasted to or pasted. So yeah, it's giving as an actual news. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So again, one more news which is a fake one. So this is again yeah, we tested it with a bigger article. So to see whether it is able to identify the news, whether it's a fake or news, whether it's a fake or real news. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah, this is about us. This is about us tab, which says the what the fact finder is about. Yeah, can you go to the next slide? Now this is the login and registration functionality. So first, before login, we have to register with legit email ID and password. So as you can see, there is an example of email ID and password that we're able to register. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. Then with the same email ID and password, you should able to log in. And okay, can you go to the next slide? So once you're logging, you should navigate to next page where you can see another tab which says as chat. And once you click on a chat button, you can able to interact with any random people who can discuss about the news, or who wants to talk more about the news and get more information about it. So the next slide would be explained by Saurabh.
Thank you. Yeah. So this is the actual code of our REST API. We are using the Flask framework for it. And here you can see that we mentioned our route to the backend framework. Here you can see that once any user enter the news text to the front end, it will come to the to this API, and here you can see it process all the data and generate the HTTP request back to the front end. Next slides. Yeah, it's so same thing here. You can see if the result, as I told earlier, that it is a classification problem. If the result is one, we mentioned in our model that that should be the news is fake, and if the prediction model result is zero, then it is actual news. So next slides will be presented by my friend.
Thank you. So this is our GitHub link where you can see all the information about our application and also the code as well. So I'll quickly share my screen, and then we have a live application demo.
I think audio is not working.
Seems like there might be some issue with. Can you hear me?
Yeah, with the audio, I think.
So I'm sharing my audio. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Hello everyone, welcome to our project application demo. Our application name is Fact Finder, and from the name it suggests it is used to detect the authenticity of the news. So when the user will be landed to our page, he will first see this interface, navigation bar, and the video showing that how fake news is. how fake news can be easily spread widely, and why it is necessary to reduce this widespread news of fake news. Now, coming to the heart of our application, is this feature where the user can directly copy the content from the other website and paste it over here to check the authenticity of the news. So let's, without wasting our time, let's check the functionality. So currently, I'll check the news about the earthquake that happened recently. So let's see whether this news is right or not. It should be right. So yeah, so when I click on the so let's check another news source about when the Elon Musk was uh, coming to India, what all things he would discuss with the Narendra Modi. Yeah. So this is the news. So when he will visit to India, he'll meet Narendra Modi and discuss about his company. Again, this is of true news. Let's see what our model says. This is also an actual news. So now let's check whether it is detecting fake news. Yeah, so here this is a website containing the list of list of fake news. So let's see this is working or not. So there was an advertisement in between, so I wasn't able to copy the entire content. So now if I check the news, it should show false. Yeah, the news is fake news. So this is what basically our app is doing. So whenever he's clicking on this verify news, so whatever this content is, the content which is there, it goes into a model and model analyzes this content, and it generates a desired result. So based on what a model thought, it showed over here. Apart from that, we have a login functionality. So when a user, we have given this functionality so that you can chat with the another user who are registered to our website and discuss about the ongoing fake news topic, so that he can easily get the info that, okay, this news is fake and not to be bothered about. So now this is a registered user. So once he will log in, he will see an interface like this. And yeah, the chat functionality is also working. So here we are missing on CSS, but definitely we will cover it into the next sprint. So now this here is the list of the users which are already registered. So if I want to talk to user ABC3, so I can type in the message, hi, I am Avisha. So yeah. So when the ABC3 will connect, he will definitely see. He can also here the previous chats are also stored. So previously, this was the conversation between Rishabh and ABC1. So this is how our app is looking. I agree that the CSS is missing, but yeah, in upcoming sprint, this thing will be covered definitely. So we have also given this is the registration functionality and also password reset functionality in case if the user forgets his password. So a mail will be generated. So let's check that functionality as well. So I am logging in with an incorrect credentials. So definitely this is wrong. And yeah, it shows a message that I'm forgetting a password. So I am, and here also we will just clean it up. So yeah, password reset link was sent, and let me check. Yeah. This was the functionality of password reset. And this was it. And this is all about our application. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Thank you, Rishabh. That was really a nice demo. So, and thank you, everyone. We all did a really nice job getting this project like up to the sprint 3, and I'm sure, like pretty sure like we'll continue it to the sprint 4 as well. So, thank you for joining. I think we are done for this meeting.
Thanks, Suraj. Thanks, everyone.